So today we preview the Indiana Fever at the Atlanta Dream, their last preseason game, and we're going to talk about the Knicks and the Celtics just to make Rob happy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
So, hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so at the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. And guess what? Kate and Clark's crossovers every Monday and Thursday, 6 to 7 and 5:30, 6:30 respectively. And that's Eastern time, except for major holidays. It's a sports reporters type forum with guest podcasters. It's really cool. We talk about Kate and Clark and all sorts of good stuff. So, Rob, today is their last preseason game. And update on the injury report. Kate and Clark is not 100%, but she's playing. And Damaris Dantas has a leg injury, and she's not playing in the preseason game. And I remember, Rob, in the two other games, she was coming back from a funeral because it was a family death. She didn't play at all. I thought it was maybe emotionally they thought, she's going to make the team. She wasn't ready, but maybe it was a leg injury.
Yeah, she was out. She had to go home. Prayers out to her and her family.
All right. So anyways, so today is Atlanta Dream. Now, the first game was against the Mystics, who maybe are going to be good this year, but they're only projected around 11th out of 13 teams. We don't know. And then it was against a Brazilian team, which obviously wasn't as good as a WNBA team, but the Dream is a real team. And they may be playing, semi-serious because they got it. This is their last preseason game too, before the season starts. And they got a new team, Rob. So that they're probably going to play their starters a fair number of minutes. So this may seem like a real game, at least for the first 2 or 3 quarters.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, both teams should be that way. Even the Fever with the last game against Brazil, they still had, they still ran their offense, which looks a lot better than last year. That's for sure.
So I think the Dream may have the 5th best team in the league, Rob. It could be them. Phoenix and the Dream are like 5-6, I think.
Yeah, I think so. With the addition with Grant is going to help a lot.
I mean, they have a really strong starting lineup. Look at that. Brandon Jones, who was an all-star in 2024. She's been an all-star 3 times. Obviously, everybody knows who Brittany Griner. Alicia Gray, she won the skills and the 3-point contest last time, and she was an all-star the last 2 years. Jordan Canada has never made an all-star team in the WNBA, but she has in other leagues. And she also is 2-time steals and first-team all-defense, but she's injured today, so she won't be playing. And Ryan Howard is the first 2 years in her league. This is her 4th year in league. She made the all-star team, and she was borderline all-star last year. So that's a very strong team. You got 5 all-star caliber players, like 5 players in the top 35 or so, Rob, in the starting lineup. That's pretty good considering there's 13 teams.
Yeah, they should, like you said, they should be able to make the playoffs this year. Now
they picked up Cheyenne Sellers, but she's I guess probably her knee. I don't know. They picked her up, but she got waived. She's a rookie. But Pau was their number 1 pick. And so she got 20 minutes last game and actually only scored 7 points. She was 1 for 7 for 3. Now, we know she had a great 3-point shooter her junior year, and her senior year, her shots went down. So we'll see if she makes the team. And they have Naz Hillman's a pretty good player. She comes off the bench along with Nia Coffey. So I don't know who's going to start who's their other point guard for Jordan Canada, but she's not playing in this game. So, but I think it's a good matchup for the Fever because they got a good front line that the Fever has to test out. It's a good test for Aaliyah Boston, Rob, against Brittany Griner.
Yeah, and also with the guards with Howard, last time they played last year, Howard was guarding Clark, so that was a nice little matchup.
She's a good defender, and Lisa Gray's a good player. So I'm interested to see how many minutes the starters play and just how they match up and what happens in the game in terms of who wins, because I think the Fever already knows who's going to be on the roster. I'm pretty sure, Rob, I'm real sure that Timpson's going to make the team, Michaela Timpson. And I don't think they're just going to waive Brianna Turner. That's why they signed her in the first place, because someone will pick her up. But if they waive Jaylen Brown, Rob, I don't think anybody will pick her up, and then they can add her as a 12th player about a third of the way through the season. I'm almost 100% sure that's what's going to happen, Rob.
Yeah, we'll see after this game what happens.
So Caitlin Clark is going to play. So we're assuming the starting lineup is going to be Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. And they're also going to start Boston. And they're also going to start Natasha Howard and Bonner. And I obviously off the bench really quickly is going to be Sophie Cunningham and also Lexi Hall. And then we'll see who else plays. That's what I think is going to be. But I think the Fever are going to play to win this game, for at least for the first 3 quarters, until they maybe have other people play. We're not sure how many minutes Clark.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, even though it's preseason, like I said, when you're coaching, I've had preseason games, and you're kind of trying to see how your players kind of gel. I mean, after a while, you're like, okay, I want to win this game. So I think they're going for the win. You always go for the win, no matter what, if you're competitive.
Yeah, last preseason game, they kind of want to go into the season with the win. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think Clark is going to play as many minutes as she would in a regular season game because of her leg, and plus because it's preseason. So, Rob, we got Knicks Celtics today. Surprisingly, the Knicks are up 2-0. First time in NBA history that a team has come back in 2 playoff games in a row down 20. And it happened against the defending champions.
Yes, Mark. So far in this series, the Knicks have been breaking records with these. The first team to come back like from 20 points, down by 20 points, back to back. It was like a mirror of the first game. And Boston, they're just depending on. I kind of told people that when you depend on that 3-point shot, if you're not making them, it's going to hurt you. And then they did this hack of Robinson, which is, to me, it slowed down the game. And it slowed them down too.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Rob, well, here's the thing: the first game they took, it was very interesting because it was exact numbers.
I know
they took 60 shots and missed 45, which is obviously 25%.
Right.
So they said, well, we have to have a plan B. I know Tony Kornheiser was talking about that. Well, why don't they have a plan B? Yeah, they did. They took 20 fewer shots. So obviously they drove to the basket more, and they actually got a 20-point lead again. But they couldn't hold it. But the next game, they took 40 shots and only made 10. So it's exactly 100 shots, exactly 25 made, 25%, which is not what they normally shoot. So that's one reason they lost. But, Rob, you also want to talk about their defense, right? Because they blew 20-point leads, not just because they're not making threes.
Yeah, people are going on about Boston was the Boston shooting, and this and that about Boston, and Porzingis was hurt, and I'm like, I don't even want to hear all that. It was the Knicks defense. And at the end, and the Knicks weren't playing that well. The Knicks have not played their best game either, but they just came back. Instead of relying on the 3-point shot, the Knicks they had the shots inside. Most of their shots were inside, and they took it to Boston and then no one on Boston's team can guard Cat. Can't Towns.
Nobody can guard Jalen Brunson either.
Well, I thought they had Holloway, who's the best defensive player.
Well, what he does do is prevents him from driving to the basket. He's got that step back shot that nobody can stop.
Yeah, he's got that Dirk Nowitzki shot there with the.
Yeah. Even though he's not tall, he steps back a fair distance, and that's why people can't stop it.
And he gets the shot off quickly. I mean, well, he didn't even have a good game the last game, and they still won. So I mean, everyone's compared with Boston. Everybody's predicting Boston to win this game tonight.
I'm predicting Boston, Rob, this game.
Yeah, everyone's picking Boston. Well, but it's so weird. So if Boston was up 2-0, then everybody would be yelling out, sweep. It's going to be a sweep. But the Knicks are up 2-0, and they're like, the Knicks may not. Why not? Why can't they win? They say, they're not the better team. Well, you had 2 games, you're up by 20 points. Who's the better team?
True, Rob, but I don't think they're going to continue to shoot 25% from threes.
Well, they better make them.
So despite Boston's great reputation for 3-point shooting, they're only 12th in the league this year, Rob, at 32.8. But that's the way they won the title last year. So I think they're going to still shoot a fair number of threes. That's just
in the games they played against the Knicks, they shut the lights out. I think they were up to like 60% when they played against the Knicks.
What, last year?
No, this year.
Oh,
they blew them out every time they played them. So they seem to pick up with the Knicks. But Knicks have solved it, like I said, with the defense, have solved that kind of problem. They stopped switching, and they're staying with their persons. And it makes it a little more difficult for it to get the easy open threes.
Right. All right, we'll see what happens. Rob, are you picking a sweep here? Because if you think they're going to win this game, the next game's in New York, and they're going to be up 3-0.
Why not? Everybody else picked the Celtics to sweep, so I'm picking the Knicks to sweep.
All right, Rob's picking the Knicks to sweep. I'm just picking Boston to win this game at this point, and let's see what happens after this. Because I just don't think they're going to continue to shoot 25% when they average almost 33%.
Well, neither, like I said, neither are the Knicks. The Knicks aren't going to continue to not score either. So we'll see what happens.
Well, they may win game 4, but I'm picking Boston in game 3. Let's see what happens. Let's see what you think down below. Who do you think is going to win the Indiana Fever Atlanta Dream game today? How many minutes do you think the starters are going to play? And you think Rob's Knicks are going to sweep Boston? That would be interesting. I don't know if a defending champions have ever been swept in a best-of-7 series, Rob, or even a
Look it up, Mark.
5 series. I don't know if that's ever. I'm going to have to check with TBT on that one.
Yeah,
but we won't look that up. If you win, if your team wins, the Knicks win, I'll look that up, Rob. If they win,
okay.
if they win today, I'll look that up and see if that'll be. I don't think that's ever happened before. All right, let us know what you think down below. If you like this video, share it with your family, friends, and acquaintances, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, what are you waiting for? It's free. Honest, it costs you nothing. And hit that notification bell when you do. You get notified of our next video. And join us for Kicking Cards Crossover every Monday and Thursday. Now that the season's starting, we'll talk about the games more. And it's 6 to 7 on Mondays and 5:30 to 6:30 on Thursdays, Eastern time, except for major holidays. Guest podcasters. It's like a sports reporter type forum, and it's really cool. We talk about Kate and Clark and WNBA mostly. And then Rob's Knicks every once in a while. and the NBA playoffs. And a little bit of football. Anyways, if you want, you can donate to this channel with super chats and super thanks down below and a link to PayPal. We'll see you in the next video.
Go New York, go New York, go.